Hey everyone, and welcome back to Dad to Dad's podcast. And I have Kenny Joyner that is with me again for part two of our conversation. Kenny, welcome.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. I so appreciate it. Great to be back with you.
Man, I'm glad you're here. And I tell you what, for all those listening, if you did not hear part one, go back, listen to it. We talk about his book, Without a Father, From Fear to Faith. And I highly recommend two things. One, you listen to the episode, and two, that you buy the book. But the reason why we broke this down into two is you have so much going on. And really, the second part is why I originally reached out to you. And it was to talk about an organization that you started, Boys with a Purpose. And I would love to hear more from you on that. And if you could just kind of dive into it, like what is it? How did it get started? What is your goal? It's Boys with a Purpose. What is your purpose behind it?
My purpose is to build strong young men, right? And that's really what's been my goal from day one. I've been mentoring now over 25 years, and so just seeing the importance of mentoring and coaching and helping, especially our young men, it's just been a heart's desire for mine. And so in 2016, when I moved here to uh, Charleston and I was teaching, I saw that our boys needed something. They needed more guidance beyond the academics, right? They needed something to help deal with the social, emotional pieces that they were dealing with outside of school, which were finding their way into the classroom. And so just wanted to start a small group and just kind of meet with them and talk a little bit about manners and etiquette, and so that was our initial stance that we wanted to do. And so
So where is this? And did you start through a school? And if you don't mind, what school is it? Like, how
sure.
did you get this group together? Like, I know you just didn't start seeing young men and said, "Hey, come with me, come with me." I mean,
Yeah,
what?
right.
Tell me more.
Yeah, so when I was a teacher at Meminger Elementary School in Charleston, South Carolina, 2016 is when we started. We would just simply, meet with our young men during my lunch period, right? Myself and another gentleman, just trying to coach them up again, just,
Yeah.
really give them some, self-esteem, and really try to, instill in them a value system of really just being confident in who you are, but then also learning how to be respectful, and how to be real gentlemen. And so we would dress them up, just every Wednesday at that time, take a little picture, put it up on Facebook, just to kind of give them a shout out. And lo and behold, got wind to Mr. Steve Harvey, and
I
so
want to go into that, and
yeah,
let's hold off just a minute. But I do want to
sure.
go into everything about Steve Harvey,
Got it.
and I want to hear. Well, you know what? Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's hear about it. Go ahead.
Well, again, that was a big piece, and we got the call, and
Was that early on, or was that after you guys had been established for a while?
no, that was early on. We started
Oh,
January of 2016. We got the call in March of
how did he
20.
how did he find out about you guys?
He saw us on Facebook. He saw us on It was crazy. Somebody saw us on Facebook, and so we got invited out. We got an opportunity to bring five boys with us, and flew to Chicago. The turnaround was quick. Filmed the show, and just had a phenomenal time. And it was truly life changing, not only obviously for the boys, but also for myself. And I didn't realize for me personally how impactful it would be. I knew I wanted to do the work. I was doing the work. I knew I loved doing it. But when we were there, he was just so gracious. He was just so kind, especially to these young boys, and just allowing them to, go into the electronic room to kind of see how live TV was made. They fed us. They really took really good care of us, and that kind of calmed them down. Every boy got a haircut on the set from Steve's
Oh,
personal
that's cool.
barber. I got my haircut as well.
Wait,
And so
why does he have a barber?
I know, right? Right. But yeah, it was just a really great piece. And then when we did the show, one of the things he said is that, this is going to keep going, and these five boys are going to infect five more and five more and five more. And that just got me to thinking, like, man, hey, we do have to do more. And then when we came back, the buzz was so big that I said, man, we got to do more. And so that's when the launch of the after school program just started. And so it was
I
just
had no idea. I thought you were established, and then he found out about it. I didn't realize he played such a huge part in that.
no, he put us really that put us on the map, got us going, got me more interested. We started the official nonprofit, and then from there, man, we've just really been just trying to again instill and do some great things for these young people. And then, in addition to that, he gave us 100 tickets to go to Carowinds, the theme park that's located right there in North Carolina. And we took a busload of parents and students there, and it was
He just donated that.
yeah, that's the kind of person he is. You know what I'm saying? And so,
So, a couple things. One, I saw it online. Is that on your page? Do you have it on your page?
no, we don't
Like
have
the
that.
clip of it?
We don't have that clip on our page. We used to, but over the years we've.
You can go and find that. For anybody listening, you can go and find that. You can go Steve Harvey Show. And actually, the way I found it was Gentlemen's Club, which used to be the name of your organization, and you changed that. It was interesting when I typed in Steve Harvey Gentlemen's Club, some of the things that came up. And I know you guys had a name change there, which probably for a good reason. But I highly recommend everybody seeing that. It's cute, and it's really good. I was pleased to see that. I want to Steve Harvey, like, what is he? Is he really just as genuine, just as nice and humble of a man as he seems? I mean, because, man, everything I see about him, read about him, I mean, I know he had very humble beginnings, hard start, homeless, like living in his car, just. But what is he like? I mean, you talked about how he was with the kids. I mean, that was legit. I mean, that was real. He wasn't show.
Yeah, that was 100% legit, and I think you can.
Wow.
You can recognize if somebody's kind of putting on or whatever the case may be, and he was 100% legit with us when we were there. He was 100% with the kids. They remember that experience, and yeah, he because I think he came from such humble beginnings. He said, man, I never want to go back there again. And so that's why, I'm working here, I'm doing here, I'm home doing this. I think he had 4 or 5 shows at that time, that he was doing, because he had a goal and a mission, just to do more, in his life. And obviously he's evolved and done some continues to do great things, but he was always that genuine person that I saw that day, and then we got an opportunity to meet. Even before we started shooting, he went to the crowd and just started speaking to everybody and talking with everybody, and just he's just a genuine person. And so and that gives obviously hope to a lot of us, because we want to believe that our goals and our dreams and everything can come true as well. And so it's just been a great honor for me to just see his whole life evolve from that time that we met until now, and so it was just a great experience for all of us, and I think all of our lives
what a blessing.
Yeah, it just was. It was a true blessing. It was.
I mean, what a blessing. I'm so happy to hear that about him, and he's somebody that I follow, and what a wise person. And I'm so happy to hear that he's so genuine. He seemed like he was. You never know, though. But you just don't. But he seemed like he was, and I'm so happy to hear that. And he seems like he has just such a big heart, and I'm glad you were there and you can confirm it, and just the impact that he had on you guys as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anybody wants to see that, I would highly recommend just Google or whatever search engine you use. Type in Steve Harvey Show and Gentleman's Club, and it will come up. And it's probably about 5 minutes, but it's a great watch.
Yeah.
All right, so you start at the elementary school. Okay, so you come back. I imagine you said it blew up. I'm sure all the local regional news picked it up, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, okay, we've got something real here. So where did you go from there? Like, how did you start getting these young men? Do you select them? Do they come to you? Do they have are there requirements, or what is it?
Initially, we did. We just accepted everybody, really,
Yeah.
because we saw the need in our school specifically for the guidance for these young men. And so we probably had about, there'd be times when we had like 30 or 40 come into my classroom.
Wow.
to meet for
Is this after school, before school?
well, sometimes during school, right?
Okay.
Initially, during school. And then once we got the space from the College of Charleston to be able to do it after school is when we started doing that after school piece. But during school, we would meet with them like 30 minutes. My principal would allow that, take my lunch period or whatever the case may be. And it was just a great thing at that time. But we knew we had to do more. We had to get more organized and different things. And then donations started coming in. And that's when we really realized, like, man, okay, people are donating suits and ties. And we had companies coming out to donate 400 or 500 ties to the boys. And people were, So then all of that, we had to come up with a website and just, all of the things that go with a nonprofit and to be able to do that. And so from there, that's when, we just really feel like, okay, let's start really kind of, narrowing it down and just seeing. So we started doing 3rd through 5th grade. And I was teaching 5th grade at the time. And so that was a big piece. And then over the years from 2016, some of those 5th graders obviously would move on to middle school, but they would want to come back. And so that's what we've seen a lot of. We've seen a lot of our middle school and even now some of our high school kids come back. And what's great is those 5 young men who went on the show, one of them was graduating this year and the other 4 will graduate next year. So that's just a big,
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So yeah.
So I'm sorry, it sounded like I was getting echo there for a minute. All right, so with these young men that you have, are they fatherless, or do they have a dad in their life, or what? Kind of give me the background maybe of the school. Is a school, is it kind of in an impoverished area? Is it, tell me more about that.
And when we first started at the school was Title I.
Okay.
Which obviously is 100% free and reduced lunch.
Right.
A lot of the kids did come from fatherless homes, but some had their fathers, right? And that's a myth that we want to kind of debunk, that every kid in our program doesn't have a father. No, sometimes dad is there, but maybe he's not able to be there, as consistent or as often as we can. And we just want to help. That's the key. It's not just about kids who don't have fathers. We want to continue to help them develop things over time that maybe fathers who have to work, right, can't do in that moment. And that's really what we wanted to do, just help in the community and making sure that no kid has the gap where, hey, he can't be in the program, or whether he has a father or doesn't have a father, he can't participate, right? We wanted to make sure that, because character, how to treat people, how to carry yourself as a young man, those are things that have to be taught on a daily basis, right? And sometimes parents have the time and sometimes they don't. And we were doing it, juggling our own personal lives. I'm married. I got a daughter,
Right.
and so it was difficult at the time. But as I tell everybody, it's a difference when you have something that you want to do and something that you have to do. Right? This is a
Yeah.
call for me. I have to do this because of where I come from and how I was raised and different things that happened to me. I've been called to do this work. I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt. And again, 7 years I've been doing it. I don't get a salary, but it is a call for me, and I've seen the benefit that it's had on so many young men's lives and so many families' lives. I ran into a family just yesterday, and just to see their young man come through our program and how well he's doing now, and mom is doing well, and she's a homeowner now, and just all of these things that you see, that come about. And so once we really put our mind to say, hey, this is what we're going to do, then everything, everybody started coming, man. Boeing, started reaching out, and they would come in and do robotics and different things with our boys.
Oh, wow.
So that was a big piece as well. And so we brought in College of Charleston basketball team and College of Charleston soccer team, and just have students to be able to talk. And the beauty of it is that we're on a college campus.
Okay.
And some of these kids have never been on a college campus, but some of them have never had people in their families go to college. And so they get to be on a college campus, they get to interact with college students, and they get to see that possibility that guess what? Yeah, you can go here too, and that's what I love.
And going back to my question about are they fatherless or not, I think back to my boys, and I mean, I'm involved in their lives, but I also realize that I can take them so far, and they need other men around them too, and whether that's a coach, whoever that may be, just to be that well-rounded man. And man, I think it's wonderful what you're doing. What I want to hear though, so I know a little bit more, but kind of explain. I noticed that when they were on the Steve Harvey show and some of the research I've said, man, those boys are dressed up. They're looking sharp. And so tell me about that and the eye contact, and so I'm a new young man that's going in there. What should I expect, or what is your goal for? I know you've kind of given a broad goal, but dig in, like just kind of your everyday, what you want to see out of them.
Well, if you're a new young man coming into our program, one of the first things we're going to say, and I'm going to tell you, is that you're going to be different when you leave here than when you came. You're ready to go through a transformation, right? Which means you're going to change. You're going to change the way you think. You're going to change the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you feel about yourself, right? And that transformation takes time, right? And one of the things you're going to see is you're going to see intentionality when it comes to everything we do. Even when I greet you, right? It's going to be intentionality.
Right.
How to shake a man's hand. I was a manager at UPS for 16 years, and I had to do a lot of interviewing. And you'd be surprised at the people that would walk in and couldn't give me eye contact and couldn't shake my hand with a firm handshake. Because back in the day, that was it.
Yeah.
A handshake.
Absolutely.
That was all we had. That was your word, right?
Yeah.
That was your contract. And if you couldn't shake a man's hand and look him in the eye and say, hey, I'm gonna pay, or you can count on me, or I'm gonna be here, right? I'm dependable, right? Then people didn't want to deal with you. And so I think we've gotten away from that, but we teach that intentionally so that young men can feel confident not only in themselves, but in who they engage, because men recognize men, and we know when men are trying to, kind of get over on us or whatever the case may
Right.
be. But we also know, like my grandfather, who was a man's man, right? There was
Yeah.
no doubt about who he was. There was no doubt about his character, and there was no doubt about if he said he was going to do something, that he was going to do it, right? And so we take them through that whole piece of that initial engagement, but then we also talk about bringing excellence to everything we do, right? And that comes with how we dress, right? And that's the look good, feel good, do good model that we adopted, from the start. Because when you look good, you do feel good, and when you feel
Yeah.
good, you want to do good. And so that's what we want. We don't want them, in school fighting. We don't want them acting out. We want them to be able to control and deal with their emotion, right? Because I was angry when I was young as well. But how do I deal with that, and how do I develop myself in such a way that I can now learn how to express myself as a young man? And so those are the things that we take them through specifically. We do, public speaking. That's a big piece of what we do. They're actually working on that now. Teaching kids how to present themselves and speak up for themselves, have their own voice, not to be timid, not to be, shy in a sense of who you are, right? You might have some shy experiences, but never be shy about yourself, about who you are. Have that voice. Be able to speak up and say, my name is, and then be able to do that with confidence. And so public speaking is a big part of what we do. This year we're doing something different in that you've got to, in a sense, argue and tell me why you deserve to not only get your award for our program, but also why do you deserve to go to the next grade? So if you're in fifth grade,
So they've got to do that in front of you in a room, or how do they?
they do
Like,
that. They're going to do that in front of me. Yeah, they're going to do it in front of their peers as well, right?
so
So you're
where
going
are
to
you? Are you like in a little classroom, or where
Yeah,
are you?
we're going to be in a classroom, but sometimes I take them to an actual lecture hall, and we actually just posted a little bit about that, and you can see them up on the lecture hall, in the front, actually presenting, themselves, because that's where the confidence is developed, and this week we're talking about confidence, and because somebody asked me, hey, Mr. Joyner, how do you get confident, you know? And we talked about that, right? You don't get confidence, you earn it, right? And you earn it through your action. You just don't wake up and be like, oh, I'm confident, right? You earn confidence through action. And so just teaching that, right? Because that was a question I had when I was younger. Like, how do
Yeah.
I get confident? You know what I'm saying? No, you don't just get confident. You earn it. And if you really want it, you're gonna have to do something specifically on a day-to-day basis to get confident. You want to get better as a reader. You want to get better in math. You want to get better in handling your anger, right? Which we talk a lot
Yeah.
about. You earn it. How? By doing something every single day. And so we just take
So
them through. Yeah, go ahead.
so they'll. This is pretty amazing. So you have them argue, or maybe not debate, but argue or state their case as to why they should move to the next grade and why they should advance in your program.
Absolutely. You have
Wow.
to be able to stand up for yourself in defense to say, hey, I deserve to go to the sixth grade because when we first started, I was getting a C in math, and I've worked hard. I've gone through tutoring, and I've developed a skill set now that has me at a 92 in math, and so I deserve because I put the work in, right? As a young man, if you can talk to me and give me that, then now you know what? You're right. You do because you put the work in. But you need to be able to articulate that in such a way that it's believable, but two, you're confident in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That is so cool. So, how many days a week is this program?
It's 3 days a week.
Okay.
And we've been doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for the last 7 years. This year we've had to change up a few days just because of my schedule.
Right.
But normally it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 days a week. We go from 3 to 6, and in that time period, which is a great piece, is that we're focused one in academics.
Right.
Two, we're going to do some type of core character lesson, right? And then three, we're going to just check in with them to see what it is they are struggling with and what it is they need help with on any level, which I think schools have to do more, right? When kids come in the classroom, we just want to teach them. But we've got to take some time out to say, hey, what do you need, right? We can't do school like we've been doing it for the last 100 years. We've got to switch it
Yeah.
up because things have changed, right? Everything in education has changed except for the way we do education. It's come in,
It's true.
get a book, stand up, I give you information, you regurgitate it back to me. I test you to see if you know what I taught you. We got to stop. We got to mix it up. And in Boys with a Purpose, we mix it up in the sense of we give the kids the voice. We give
Yeah.
our young men the voice to be able to say, hey, this is how I learn math, and it's okay for me to learn it this way. This is how I develop my reading skill, and it's okay for me to learn it this way. I'm not trying to put them in any kind of box. In fact, I want them to think outside of the box and be outside of the box as much as possible because that's when they can become their authentic selves, their unique selves, and the best version of themselves.
So this has been going on for about 7 years.
Yeah.
You talked about your first class, how some of them are graduating now. And you've kind of touched on some of the success stories, but I would love to hear more. Are there other success stories, or just seeing the kids that maybe it was a kid who got in fights a lot, and all of a sudden he's very humble or very, more at peace within himself.
Yeah.
Have you seen a good bit of that with these? I
Oh, yeah,
imagine so.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We've seen so many success stories. And really, let me be honest, that's what keeps me going.
Yeah,
That's what keeps me going. Running a nonprofit it's hard work, especially when you're in the trenches every day and you're feeling the emotion of these kids. You're seeing when they don't have lights or when they don't have food or, you're seeing the emotion of, if they're getting in trouble in school and you know why or what's happening on the outside. You're seeing if, parents are divorcing and, there's a split and there's a battle between the kid and different things. You're seeing the effect on them. So it's not just, we're teaching character and we're going through academics. I see every single day the lives that these young men are in, and that wears on you, right? And
yeah,
but yeah, the success is that we had a young man. I won't use his name, but we had a young man in sixth grade, right after the first year after he left us. He was in sixth grade, and just got involved in the wrong crowd, got involved in the wrong situation, and ended up getting expelled. Right, and I went to the expulsion hearing with him, and I told him, I said, hey, this is going to be a part of your journey. Right, one day
yeah,
you're going to be before people, and you're going to tell them that you were expelled, but you got back on track, and you've had success. And he was top of his eighth grade class last year. He's in ninth grade now, and AB honor roll, just really doing some great things with his life. And that for me, because he, if I would have had a son, it would have been him. And that's really what he's so dear to my heart.
man,
But to see him turn it around, to see him be successful, he's gone to a few NBA games with us this year, and come back to actually speak to the next generation and just tell his story. He'll be at our award ceremony this year as well. That's just one of the many success stories, because I want them to understand that it's not where you start,
yeah,
it's how you finish,
yeah,
right? And that even because we think when a kid gets in trouble, when a kid is doing things that, where they're acting out or whatever the case may be, we think that, that's the time to just, like, hey, man, it's nothing more I can do.
right,
But Boys with a Purpose, those are the kids we want. The kids that people want to throw away, the young men that people think that, it's time to give up on this person. Let me move on to put my efforts in somebody else. Those are the kids that we think we want the most. The kids that people don't deem have value, that they don't think they're ever going to be anything, because that is what people thought about me, right? I want those kids because I know we have what it takes to flip the switch for them, to turn it on, to say, man, you've got more value than you think. Regardless of what people are saying, you can be something great. And that's all kids ever need. They just need one light, one
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
right? That's
We
it.
all make mistakes. We all do.
That's it.
And these young men are so lucky to have you. I know you're
Oh,
lucky to have them, but they are
yeah.
so fortunate to have you in their lives. I mean, they really are. And just as a mentor, as a guide, so lucky. I thank you. I mean, I really do.
Well,
Um,
thank you. No, I appreciate it, man. I want to always try to give back and pour out, right? That's really what, um, you never want to hoard the gift you have.
yeah.
And I've got a gift to be able to reach the lost, to reach young men who have closed their hearts up, have closed their minds up to possibility. I've been given a gift to be able to tap into that and inspire and motivate. And I just want to give it away as much as I possibly can, to save a life. And I said coming into this year, if we could just save one, right? I didn't know how many we were going to have, but if we could just save one, this year would be worth it. And so we've got, 12 that are rolling with us now, and more are going to be coming back and coming to the award ceremony in May. But yeah, it's just really going to be, I just want to continue to do my part when it comes to some of the things that are happening, in this world. A lot of people are on the sidelines talking about what we should do, could do, ought to
Right.
do,
Should have done everything
yeah,
else.
all of
Yeah.
that, And so for me, I've always wanted to be in the game, right?
That's
I want,
so inspiring. I mean, it really is. And to think, again, it kind of goes back to our earlier conversation, other interview. I mean, we as men, we need to stand up. I mean, look, this is our cry. We need to do it. It's our time. We need to stand up and take a part in our own house, in our own children, and then wherever else we can help. I mean, you're definitely testament to that. We have time, whether it's being that to one other, to a neighborhood kid, whoever it can be. We need to do that. We need to get back. And man, guys like you that have that wisdom, that haven't had things easy, that have seen a lot, that have had their shares of nightmares in their lives, and that can go to these kids and just be, hey, I know what you're going through. I see that with my own boys with different challenges they have, and like, hey, I know what you're experiencing, and to be on their level and to really have that empathy. I think that's awesome, Kenny. I mean, it really is. So, this might not matter that much, but man, these kids, like I kind of talked about, they're dressed up. You've got them in ties, some with bow ties. Is that every day? Is that all 3 times they've got to 3 times during a week they wear that when they meet with you, or is it just on Fridays? Is it all the time? And you kind of
no,
alluded to it, but how do they? Because I imagine some of these kids can't afford dressed up. And look, when I saw pictures of them, like it's not like they're wearing something that their older brother wore that's too big for them, or something they've been wearing for the last 2 years. I mean, everything fits. I mean, they're looking sharp.
we make sure of that, man. And so what's been great is,
And how do they
um,
respond to that? Like, I don't want to dress up.
oh, no, they love it. They love, and that's one of the things. So recently we just had a big, haircut drive where we gave away free haircuts to the whole community. I brought in, probably like 9 barbers. They cut everybody's hair for free. Talked about the profession of barbering and how it originated and everything. And all of our boys got haircuts, right? And so that was just a big thing. The community came out, and so that's one of the things that a part of that look good, feel good, do good. And so when they get to dress up, and we're getting ready to take them, now, to get measured for their suit. Somebody has stepped up and said, "Hey, I want to donate all 12 suits this year, for the boys." And so when you go in, and again, this is just me using everything as a lesson. It's one thing to pick a suit off the rack,
Right.
right? But there's another thing when you get a suit made for you.
Yeah.
And so I equate that with your purpose. Your purpose is made for you. It fits you, right? If I put a suit on the rack, there might be some things I might have to take it here, take it in here or there. But then I show them, hey, this is a suit that's been made for me. What do you notice about it?
Wow.
Right? And then I take the jacket off and then I put it on another young man, right? And obviously the jacket is big on him, right?
Yeah.
And I say the same thing, like, look, this jacket doesn't fit him now, but eventually, if he stays consistent, stays focused, he'll grow into his purpose, right? And that's one of the things that when they get their suit kind of, made for them, and there's something, I don't care who you are, what man you are, there's something about when it's time to dress up.
Yep.
I'm trying to
Yep.
tell you, there's something about that. You got a nice haircut, you got a brand new suit to put on. It just changes you, right? Because you're going to be looking good, looking sharp, and that does something not only to you, but it does something to the people who see you. Right?
I love
They're
it.
like,
So no baggy pants or shorts hanging low, no hoodies with the hood on. It's like, we're not having any of that.
no, we don't do any of that because again, we always want to connect with who we are,
Yeah.
right? And wearing our pants sagging, wearing the hood, and they have hoods, but I'm saying when we're together and you're in a classroom, no, you don't need your hood on, right? When we go places, you don't need your hood on, right? But let me say this: I understand why our young men wear hoods,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I've had
Yeah.
several
I do.
talks, So, but they know that that's not a true representation of who they are. And every day, here, what we always say, who are we trying to be? The best version of me. That's it. And so I'll just ask them, is this the best version of you? No, sir, it's not. Let me take my hood off. Right? So
So is it yes sir, no sir? It's the whole 9 yards. You're
the
you're
whole,
teaching
yeah,
them everything.
it's the whole 9 yards. I
Wow.
believe that when I was younger, those are the things that were instilled in me early and often, and I didn't deviate from that, right? Just
That makes
even
such a
today,
difference to me.
I can't call an older woman by her first name. Like that
Right.
just, yeah, you just don't do that, right? So those are the things that have been instilled in me, and those are the things that not only show respect for other people, but they show respect for yourself.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the core piece.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's the core pieces. So first, who do you want to show respect for? You want to show respect for yourself, right? Then you want to
Yeah.
show respect for others. Then you want to make sure you show respect for those who are older than you, and you definitely want to show respect for women, 100%. And we teach a lesson on each piece of that because it's not enough just to say that. Now I need you to understand why, and then I need you to actually put it into practice. So yeah, so it's just been a great piece for us. Etiquette, we talk about. They go to the restaurant, fancy and dressed up.
I was
And
going to ask you. Yeah.
yeah, they get that experience, man. And I didn't get that experience when I was younger, but here's what I'm always after. I'm always after life-changing experiences.
Yeah.
Things that are going to impact you, things you're going to remember, things that you're going to be like, wow, we got to go to our first NBA game ever, right? And I got to see LeBron James actually play or Steph Curry play or whoever, right? And I was there and I saw him warming up and like so now, going to the NBA doesn't seem so far, right? And I'm more
Yeah.
focused. So that's where we are, man. We want to make sure that we don't drop the baton when it comes to character, when it comes to etiquette, when it comes to how these young men view themselves.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. So funding, you've talked about donations coming in. How do you go about that? Is it word of mouth? Maybe somebody's listening now and they're like, whoa, I'd love to give to these guys. I have a clothing store, or my company makes ties, or I would just love to monetarily send $100 or whatever. How do they do that? How do you get funding for this? Because this isn't cheap.
No, it's not.
I mean,
definitely
it's not cheap. I mean, you're donating a lot of your time, which is also money, but for these kids, and how do you get that? I mean, you talked about corporations. How else is it? How do you come about it?
Well, I'm a firm proponent of I'll knock on every door, I'll send every email, I'll make every call that I need to make when it comes to funding for these young men. I'll do whatever I need to do because I know that the benefit, will have years and years and years lasting effects. So we do fundraisers. We're doing one now. And we partner with another company, Booster, who has really helped us out. And so we'll do a fundraiser, probably 2 or 3 a year. There's I write grants, whatever I need to apply for, I will. But a lot of it is, just word of mouth. We'll put a lot up on social media. We'll put a lot up on, we'll contact local news. We'll say, hey, this is what we're doing. Kind of give us a shout out or whatever the case may be. I'll contact, the people in my circle, some,
Right.
Some famous, some not, to be able to say, hey, this is what we're doing. And, we just kind of want you to, spread the word. That's all, and so, but yeah, a lot of it is just word of mouth and trying to do what we do. And we're trying to, raise funds now to take a trip to DC this summer. And obviously that's going to require a lot, but I've never been one to want to deny someone something because of money, and so I know there's resources out here, and I'm willing to do whatever I need to do, jump through hoops, write every grant, do whatever I need to do, call whoever I need to call to get that funding. If not, I just go I go into my own pocket. At times, and I did that obviously for the first 3 or 4 years because, that we just didn't have that kind of traction initially as far as like funding was concerned. But when the why is strong enough, you'll figure out the how.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. And this why for me of saving young men's lives, giving them a better future than I had, than I may have myself. Giving them possibilities, bringing them hope every single day. That's a strong enough why for me to be able to get into the trenches and do whatever I need to do, to make it happen.
So, and they can find you at, I think the website is at boyswithapurpose.sc.org.
Mm-hmm,
okay.
absolutely.
So Boys with a Purpose SC for South Carolina.org.
Mm-hmm,
is the way people can also reach out, and I'm sure there's ways on there you could probably donate or at least reach out to you as well. I'm sure the attraction of this, I'm sure there's demand to join your program. Have you thought about expanding this into other markets, or what's the plan? Yeah, you have, huh?
Yes, absolutely. The more, I would say, over the past 4 years specifically, we've gotten calls from all around the world. Literally.
I'm sure.
Yeah, to say, hey, and I've got my emails are always filled up with, hey, I'd love to talk to you about this. I got a text from somebody today in Texas, to duplicate, right?
Right.
The program, and so that's what we're working on now. Curriculum for Boys with a Purpose should be ready by August, and so that curriculum will be set. It'll be a 36-week curriculum which will run concurrently with the school year, but we want to make sure that I want to make sure that I stay in the after school model. And here's why. Because I get to travel the country and work with teachers and principals and superintendents, I know that we can't put more on teachers.
Right.
We have to do this in an after school model so that we can, again, build and help teachers in what they do. Our program is strategically set to where we work directly with teachers and directly with parents. So if parents come in our program, the first thing we say in the consultation is, what would you like us to work on with your son or your nephew or whatever? What would you like to see developed? which is something we don't do in the classroom. We just teach what we teach.
Right. Right.
And then when we work with teachers academically on the academic side, they might say, hey, Mr. Joyner, he's low in his reading, he's low in his math, he's low in his phonemic awareness, or whatever it might be. And so now specifically, I know what to drill down on, and our mentors know what to drill down on when they come to us. And so we can better serve. Teachers can't go home with kids and practice their math. They can't go home,
Right.
but we can practice what's necessary and bridge the gap between what they needed academically in the school and what they do with us. And that's just help. It's just assistance. That's all. But then also, we can develop the character of how you see yourself in this whole thing, right? How do you see yourself as a math student? How do you see yourself as reading better? How do you see yourself as somebody with respect and integrity? And what do those things mean when you actually do the work? That's the whole child. So we want
You're
to
so intentional on everything. I mean, it's and it seems like with you, it so many life lessons just in everything, everything you see, everything you come across. It's amazing.
It has to be. It has to be, because now, especially now, some of the things I came through last year, had a lot of loss in the family. I'm moving differently. I'm moving with a sense of urgency, because we don't know, the time we have left, and we don't know, how many people we're going to be able to impact, or, and so I want to move with a sense of urgency while I'm here, while I've got the time, the energy, while my mind is still great. I wanna be able to move again with that sense of urgency to save as many young people, and then hopefully as we go forward, we're going to expand and do Girls with a Purpose as well.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's not something that I would run, right?
Right.
I would commission and enlist some great women to be able to do that, because there's a need for that. 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a need for that. And so, but we want to do this well first, right? And once we do this well, boom, we're gonna tackle that. We're gonna tackle that down the road. But yeah, we definitely want to, because again, if we just leave it to our young men, that's 50% of the population, and we just leave
Right.
it. We want to save them as well. So, and with me having a daughter, I know the importance of having a strong male role model in your life, and having that father figure, or longing for that father figure
Right.
as a young lady. So yeah, absolutely, we want to do that, man. I want to do mentoring like Apple does phones.
Wow.
We want to be that good at what we do.
And you will with your drive and determination and faith. I have no doubt. I mentioned how these guys are so lucky to have you, and it is you're changing generations. I mean, the touch that you're having, and I know Steve Harvey, you had said that Steve Harvey, when in a prior conversation, I brought that up to you, and you're like, yeah, that's what Steve Harvey said. And I went back and watched, and he did. And you're not just touching these young men. You're touching them. You're touching their future sons and daughters. You're touching, those kids that they come in contact with as well. Just the inspiration, the manners, all of these things. And it's absolutely beautiful, Kenny.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it 100%.
It really is. And what else? Anything else about the program that I've missed or that you want to hit on?
No, man. I just want, like I said, if people want to get in contact with me, they can. I want to help in any way. If people want to bring me in to speak, I also do that as well, to be able to, speak to young men, all over the country. And if all they have to do is email me at boyswithapurpose@gmail.com, and then we can go from there as far as setting that up. But yeah, I just want to have as much impact as I can to save as many lives as I can during this season, and just spread that love.
What would you say to a guy that's listening out there, like, man, I want to do something, just don't know, I want to give back. I I've been through these things. I can feel Kenny, man. I've been there with them. I want to do something. I just don't know how to do it. I don't know how to start. What do you say to them? What if you had to sit down? What would you say to them?
I would say first look at the burden that weighs heavy on your heart. Whatever that burden is. Could be young men, could be homelessness, could be whatever, I don't know, right? Look at the burden that's on your heart and then move in that direction. Just do something. We just took one step, right? That's it. I just took one step and said, hey, I want to do something for these young men. We were meeting 30 minutes during my lunch period just to work on etiquette and manners. That's all. We just took one step. We didn't have no idea that it was going to be 7 years later. It was going to be hundreds of people, impacted, specifically thousands. We didn't know, around the globe, people were going to want to know and donate and duplicate the program.
You didn't know you'd be on Steve Harvey show, did you?
I had no idea, right? We weren't doing it for that,
Right.
But the key was we just took the first step. So I would just say, whatever burden is on your heart in whatever area of your life, right, just take one step, do something, in that vein. I got a burden for literacy. We're giving away $1,000 in books to schools all around the country, right? That's on my heart, so I'm just doing it. I'm just calling schools and saying, hey, you got a kid that needs some books? Boom. Tell me what books, and I'm sending them. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So you can just do what you need to do right where you are. It doesn't have to be this huge thing. We think we've got to grow or we've got to do something that's exponential, right?
Right.
It's the small things, it's in the details, as my wife would say, right, that move the needle, right? 27 years of marriage. How did I get here? One day at a time. One day at a time.
There you go.
That's it. So I would say just do what you can where you are, because that's going to be enough. That's going to be enough. Guaranteed.
Kenny, you are one amazing human being, and I'm so happy that we connected, and you absolutely have found your purpose. And we are blessed as a society to have you, and hopefully there's other men out there too that will stand up and, that will take that chance, take that step.
Yes,
and
I'll be happy to
go out there and make a difference, because we need to.
Yeah, I would be happy to help any man that might be struggling, man. I think that's one of the things that we've got to do as men. We've got to support one another. We've got to help one another, because no one man has it all figured out, no matter what they think or say. It's together. It's the support of one another because I can't lift 4 tons, but if you give me 10,000 men, we can lift 4 tons.
There you go.
And so that's the biggest piece that, I like to say that our burdens are not as heavy when we lift them together.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. So. Kenny, thank you. And I don't want you to be a stranger. I want you to come back and definitely update us. And we'd love to have you on just from time to time and maybe just talk about life, fatherhood, and just everything else. So, look, thank you so much for your time, and I do appreciate it and wish you all the best. And how can everybody find you? Boys with a Purpose at sc.org, Boys with a Purpose at gmail.com. Website, not website, but social media. Tell me those.
Yeah. Well, change maker 1 on Instagram, change_maker 21 on TikTok, change_maker 1, I think, on Twitter. But yeah, I am the change maker. That's one of the things that I've been given that name, and because I want things to be different than when I leave than when I came here. So.
And Boys with a Purpose, they have Facebook page. Does it have a Facebook page or? Yep,
absolutely. You can check us out on Facebook. We're always posting on Facebook. We're always posting on Instagram. Just either, and what really now people want more is we've been posting just a little bit of snippets from our lessons, right? Our lessons. Yeah. So you can start to see more of that on Instagram and TikTok, because Those lessons, again, can inspire young people, all around the globe. So we want to start to do a little bit more in that area as well.
Kenny, brother, thank you. Beautiful work you're doing, and I'm so happy that we got to talk and that you were on and that you agreed to come on. And look, I can't thank you. And again, I wish you all the best, and keep doing what you're doing. We need you. Everybody needs you. So proud of you. And thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys, and thank you all for listening to Dad's podcast. Again, you can always find us on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts, as well as on YouTube and Instagram. And be sure to hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss any episodes. And we will see you all next time. Thank you.